Starspawn. It is I, your overlord and host, Almighty Cthulhu. You might see that we're in a different place. I've got some upgrades to the channel. There's obviously a microphone here now, and I've got a new webcam and a headset. Soon I will be getting a background for this, so you don't have to see my dirty, dingy basement, and you won't be able to tell what time of year it is, and that'll be cool, because then all my videos will be a little bit more uniform, so I'm real happy about this. We'll just keep going up. I also can edit videos on my computer now, so they will be a little bit higher production quality than they were prior to this. They used to be just filmed on my phone. So, yeah, that's the new stuff that I had been talking about for the past couple videos. It's finally here. Anyways, I wanted to take a minute today to talk about the media darling, Colin Kaepernick. Everybody is up in an uproar about this because this man has been signed with Nike and he was a kneeler. Hashtag TakeAKnee, right? And I'm not actually going to talk about the politics of whether what he is doing is right or wrong or what. You know what? I'll take a second to say Nike just had a great marketing idea that was brilliant. They're not calling they haven't called any of their people who were burning their clothes racists or Nazis or anything like that. They got their product in the spotlight and then they stepped out. So that was actually kind of a brilliant marketing idea as far as that goes. But aside from the marketing techniques that we see here, we also have everyone talking about the politics, and I think that this is a great instance of what is fake news. Now, fake news can not only be CNN putting out stories about like Cohen where they don't have all of the information and they're not ready to release it and they might as well just wait until the information comes out, or they look like fools, so lies. Or it's not just when they're putting out papers with crazy headlines so that they can change public opinion only to go back and redact it later, or to write a new article that will change those opinions that they had stated earlier. So yeah, those aren't the only types. This is a good type too. And why? Because this doesn't matter. It's not really fake news, it's just fake news. It's unimportant. It's why does it matter what this guy who gets paid to kick a ball around the field, what his political leanings are? It really doesn't. And I guess you could say that, oh, well, kids are watching and he's supposed to be a role model and things like that. Well, if you have kids and you're worried about them getting into this and, not kneeling for their national anthem, then don't have them watch it. They're your kids. You can turn it off. And that's another thing, that the right flips when things like this happen. They're always the ones who are talking about, oh, well, just turn it off if you don't like it. And it kind of turns them into hypocrites. Why are they all freaking out about this stuff? Why are they all freaking out at Nike when they're the ones who make fun of people for being snowflakes all the time? It doesn't really make sense to me. And on top of that, it's just kind of unimportant, like I said. This guy doesn't change policy. He doesn't write policy. He wasn't voted in by us. I'd be kind of pissed if it was a senator who was kneeling during, the national anthem or something like that, because he's supposed to represent our people. He's supposed to represent this country. But if it's just some guy who's on TV because he can kick some balls, then what does it matter? And I'm showing how much I really care about sports with this, so maybe I'm a little biased, but everybody always talks about how they want politics to stay out of their sports. I'm kind of on the other side of that. I want sports to stay out of my politics. Their opinions don't matter. I'm not worried about it. I'm not, if that's what this guy wants to do, that's what this guy can do in this country. It's a portion of the free speech. So, I guess I did talk about its politics a little bit, so sorry about that, but more so, this is an epidemic in our modern culture. Not only is it sports ball players, it's celebrities, and it all started with Leonardo DiCaprio in his Oscars acceptance speech way back when The Revenant came out. I think that was 2014. I can't quite remember, but he whined and moaned and complained until they finally gave him this Oscar. And he gets up there and he talks for maybe 10-20 minutes on how hard it was to find snow during the filming of The Revenant. And I don't want to start talking about climate change, but this was the first. It was kind of cool then, I guess, because this was the first time it had really happened. It was the first time that someone used a platform like that to talk about a political issue, so it was kind of like, whoa, kind of against the grain. But since then, that's all we've gotten. We can't watch anything anymore without having some form of politics being related to it, and it's really kind of sad because I like to turn it off every once in a while. I pay attention to this way too much, so when I do want to step away from it, it'd be nice to not be getting this from everybody, whether they're Republican or whether they're liberal or what have you. It doesn't matter to me. I just want to see them for their talent. I don't want to see them for their opinions. You know, they say that Hollywood is for people who are pretty and can act. They say that DC is for people who aren't pretty and can act. So, you know, I want to see pretty people playing roles that don't have anything to do with today's real life stuff. And that's really kind of where I'm going with this. It doesn't matter what these people think. It doesn't matter what Kanye thinks of Trump. It doesn't matter what Chelsea, whatever her name is, holding up the head of Trump. Doesn't. These people aren't affecting policy. So, if we could stop, letting them ruin everything for us, if they could just stop talking about it, that'd be great. But they're not going to do that until we stop listening and realize that it's all just kind of silly fake news. So, yeah, that's what I'm worried about. People paying attention to this instead of, like Alex Jones getting banned from everything, actual censorship going on, real fake news, real shit going on. It's taking away people from, the genocide that might start here soon in South Africa. I'm sure some of you have heard of that. There's conjecture here and there, but we need to talk about it, and we're not talking about these things because we're talking about Colin Kaepernick and him kneeling during the national anthem. Things that don't really matter. So let's get back to the actual point here and the important things and start talking about those again, because that would be awesome. So why don't you keep your sports out of my politics, and I'm just going to sit here and wait for the stars to turn.